These are this afternoon's top stories. Government grants duty-free concessions. Barbados Prime Minister says island will replace the Queen and move towards republic. And American flag raised over U.S. Embassy in Cuba for the first time in 50 years. Good afternoon and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Friday, 14th August 2015. I'm Carla Berridge. In national news, 16 businesses on St. Kitts have been granted duty-free concessions from the local government in accordance with its commitment to develop micro, small and medium-sized enterprises. A cabinet spokesperson indicated that duty-free concessions have been given to beneficiary enterprises which have demonstrated strong potential for business and entrepreneurial growth, the creation of jobs and value to consumers. The businesses range from catering and construction companies to providers of engineering services. Also included in the list are a food and beverage manufacturer, an auto service company, a silkscreen company, and a trucking company. According to a release from the Cabinet Secretary, the fiscal incentives are in conformity with Part 3 of the Small Business Development Act, number 24 of 2009. A duty-free waiver has also been approved for the crematorium at a local funeral home. It's official. Everson Hall is the new ambassador of St. Kitts and Nevis to the Organization of American States, OAS. This comes following a ceremony at the OAS headquarters on Thursday. Ambassador Hull presented his credentials to OAS Secretary General Luis Almagro during a short ceremony at the organization's Washington-based headquarters.
I am pleased to receive you. I am so grateful that St. Kitts and Nevis sends such an experienced ambassador, and we hope that we'll be able to work together in a very substantial manner in the future.
The new ambassador said it was an honor and privilege to represent the Federation, adding he is ready to work with the Secretary General and willing partners to continue strengthening the organization.
We look forward enthusiastically in seeking to strengthen the pillars of security, integral development, democracy, and human rights that undergird the very foundation upon which this great organization stands. St. Kitts and Nevis is deeply committed to these ideals. We look forward to working closely with you and all member states to foster political dialogue, inclusiveness, regional solidarity, and cooperation throughout the hemisphere.
Hull also highlighted the Secretary General's increased focus on economic development and country-specific approach to local OAS offices. On hand to welcome Ambassador Hull were Assistant Secretary General Nestor Mendez, several OAS member states representatives, and senior organization staff. The Federation's Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris, has extended sympathy to the government and people of the Republic of China, Taiwan, in light of Typhoon Sodelor, which hit the country over the weekend and left at least 5 people dead. Prime Minister Harris emphasized the strong relationships between the two countries and acknowledged the resilience of the people of Taiwan, hoping it will see them through the latest challenge. The storm packed winds in excess of 142 miles per hour when it made landfall on Saturday. It triggered landslides, knocked out power to almost 2 million homes, and caused widespread flooding as towering waves hit coastal areas. Regionally, the Queen could be the monarch of one less country next year after the Prime Minister of Barbados announced his intention to replace Her Majesty as the country's head of state. General Secretary of the Democratic Labour Party, DLP, George Pilgrim, told a branch meeting that he wants the Caribbean island to become a republic with a ceremonial president in 2016 for the 50th anniversary year of its independence.
Pilgrim revealed today, as he announced plans for the party's 60th annual conference, that delegates will be voting on, among other things, a resolution on the issue. The vote will take place on August 23rd.
The party will be debating a resolution supporting vision for a republic. The resolution will be debated seeking to indicate to the public of Barbados support for our party leader in his vision to see Barbados become a republic.
This move would reduce the number of Commonwealth countries in which the Queen is head of state to 15, including the United Kingdom. Other Commonwealth realms include Australia, New Zealand, and Canada. In Dominica, a $2.8 million police station has been officially commissioned in Calibishi. The station was officially commissioned on Wednesday. The symbolic ribbon cutting to declare the police station opened was done by First Lady Clara Savarin and blessed by Wesley priest Father Conan. More in this report from Kimani St. John.
His Excellency President of Dominica Charles Savarin and his wife, several ministers of government and other government officials, as well as officials of the Dominica Police Force were present to witness the occasion. The Honorable Minister for Housing, Lands and Water Resource Management, Reginald Austrie, represented the Honorable Prime Minister.
This gift to you is our way of showing you that you have a government which cares and gives priority to your safety and your protection. It has been recognized that the preservation and maintenance of law and order and a peaceful and safe and secure society resides to a large extent on the effectiveness and efficiency of the police force, and that strategically located police stations improve the ability of the police to maintain a stable and peaceful environment in our country.
Internationally, this morning saw the raising of the American flag in Cuba for the first time in decades. But as the U.S. prepared to raise its flag at its newly restored embassy in Cuba, Cubans and Americans in Havana expressed excitement over the two nations' future. John Kerry was the first Secretary of State to land on the island since 1945, marking a new era in Cuba-American relations.
Morning from Havana, the Americans are back. I'm standing atop the reopened U.S. Embassy, where today Old Glory returns to that flagpole behind me. This week, Americans are flocking to Cuba again. Small yachts licensed to carry tourists arriving in Havana's Hemingway Harbor.
And the thing that we found here is you know, just a richness of a culture that I didn't have any idea existed here.
And this morning, John Kerry landed in Cuba, the first Secretary of State here on the island since 1945, marking a new era in Cuba-America relations negotiated by Presidents Barack Obama and Raul Castro in secret 18-month talks revealed last December 17th, when American contractor Alan Gross was released from a Havana prison.
Through these changes, we intend to create more opportunities for the American and Cuban people, and begin a new chapter among the nations of the Americas.
Today, the American flag flies above the U.S. Embassy for the first time since 1961, raised by the same three Marines who took it down 54 years ago.
I'll be saluting it when it goes up and be proud.
Japan is marking the 70th anniversary of its defeat in the World War II today, Friday. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe is expected to issue an apology for his country's role in the war. It comes just a few weeks after one of Japan's biggest companies apologized for using American prisoners of war as forced labor. But so far, no apology has been extended to the Chinese victims. Al Jazeera's Nave Barker reports.
Dong Zhe remembers the beatings, but mostly the relentless hunger. He was 21 when he was captured by Japanese soldiers and sent to dig for coal in a mine operated by the giant Japanese company Mitsubishi.
The most depressing thing was I was always hungry, and no matter how hungry we were, we still had to work.
In all, 10 young men were abducted from the Chinese village where Zhe still lives. More than 3,700 men, all civilians, were rounded up from other parts of China and shipped to Japan. Zhe is one of only 17 forced laborers still alive. Last month, Mitsubishi made an unprecedented apology to US prisoners of war also used as forced labor. Japan ruled against extending a similar apology to Chinese victims, saying a treaty normalizing ties had already been signed in the 1970s. But Chinese survivors have kept pressuring the Japanese government. 70 years after the war, and Mitsubishi company executives say they're ready to offer $16,000 in compensation to each Chinese victim, and to offer them an apology.
I believe the day when Mitsubishi will apologize will come very soon. They're under a lot of pressure from China and from the victims. Mitsubishi has realized that if it doesn't solve this historical problem, it can never be a normal, functioning company.
Taking a look at the weather. Today and tonight will be partly cloudy with isolated brief passing showers. Tomorrow's skies will become increasingly cloudy with scattered showers. Temperatures will peak at 84 degrees Fahrenheit. The St. Kitts Met office says a tropical wave across the eastern Caribbean will generate cloudiness, showers and thunderstorms to the southern Windward Islands later today and tonight. These conditions, they say, will spread to the Leeward Islands on Saturday. Sunset this evening will be expected at 6:37 p.m. while sunrise tomorrow will be at 5:54 a.m. That brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kyla Barrage.